Okay, Mr. Chairman, we'd like.
Thank you very much. I call this meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. This is the regular meeting of the Baldwin Park Planning Commission, April 14th, 2021. Commissioner Garrido, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Chip, thank you.
Sure thing. Please mute your mics, placing your right hand over your heart, and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Garrido. At this time, Madam Secretary, will you please call roll?
Thank you, Chair. Chair Christopher Sines.
Present.
Vice Chair Edwin Borcas.
Here.
Commissioner Edith Reese. Commissioner Christopher Garrido.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this moment, I'd like to make a motion to excuse Commissioner Reese.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Borges. Madam Secretary, will you please call roll?
Chair Christopher Sines.
Yes.
Vice Chair Edwin Borcas.
Yes.
Commissioner Christopher Garrido.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Motion passes 3-0. Commissioner Reese is excused. At this time, I'd like to move on to public communications. Madam Secretary, have we received any comments on any item not on the agenda?
None received, sir.
Thank you so much. So we're going to go ahead and move on to consent calendar. I move to adopt the action minutes from February 24th, 2021. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Garrido. Madam Secretary, will you please call roll?
Thank you, Chair. Chair Christopher Sines.
Yes.
Vice Chair Edwin Borcas.
Yes.
And Commissioner Christopher Garrido.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Motion passes 3-0. Action minutes from February 24th, 2021 have been adopted. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and move on to set matters, public hearing. Item number 2, the consideration and adoption of a mitigated negative declaration in conjunction with a request for consideration of approval from the Design Review Committee to the Planning Commission to facilitate the development of a new 20,847 square foot industrial warehouse building and a zoning variance to deviate from the minimum side yard setback standard. Location 12793 Garvey Avenue. Applicant David Cook for Baldwin Park Homes LLC. Case number DR 20-02 and ZV 20-03. Mr. Ron Garcia.
Thank you, Chairman and members of the commission. As you indicated before you tonight, the applicant is requesting the approval of a design review for the site design and building architecture and a zoning variance to deviate from the zoning standards for minimum side yard setback standards within the industrial commercial zone. Again, to facilitate a new 20,847 square foot industrial commercial warehouse building located at 12793 Garvey Avenue in the city of Baldwin Park. Next slide, please. The subject site consists of approximately 42,875 square foot parcel at the northwest corner of Garvey Avenue and Westcott Avenue, and is currently occupied by a tow yard and billboard, which will remain as part of the development. The property has a current general plan use designation of commercial industrial, which is located in the industrial commercial zone. The zoning provides areas for development of industrial parks, offices, office complexes, and light industrial manufacturing businesses. Surrounding land uses consist of multifamily residential to the north, as well as a utility corridor of open space and industrial commercial uses to the east, as well as Garvey Avenue and I-10 to the south, and a mobile home park, an existing mobile home park, which is in the IC zone west of the subject property. Next slide, please. The proposed two-story building consists of 4 tenant spaces and would include approximately 1,654 square feet of first floor office space and 1,654 square feet of second floor general office space, and approximately 17,539 square feet of warehouse storage area. In addition, the proposed project would provide a total of 42 parking spaces within the parking lot. The building footprint, again, would consist of 19,055 square feet and represent a lot coverage of approximately 45%, where 50% is allowed. The applicant is proposing a total of 2,680 square feet of landscaping on the site. The landscaping is located around the perimeter of the site and within the parking areas. The code requires that a minimum of 10%, which equates to 1,829 square feet of the parking lot area to be landscaped. Landscaping is also proposed fronting Garvey Avenue and also on Westcott Avenue, which will serve to soften the aesthetic appearance of the building from the street. In addition, a landscape buffer along the northerly property line of the project site is also being proposed. Final landscape and irrigation plan are required per the approval. As mentioned, on-site parking and loading access will be provided from the driveway along Westcott Avenue at the rear of the proposed building. The project again provides 42 parking spaces with 2 accessible spaces. The subject site would therefore provide a total of 10 surplus parking spaces for the development. The rear parking lot would provide access through a 24-foot wide sliding security gate and a single 26-foot wide backup aisle. Multiple 12-foot high roll-up doors would allow loading and unloading access to the each of the 4 tenant spaces via the parking lot area. Next slide, please. The proposed development would be visible from the surrounding area, which includes the streets and other buildings. The proposed building would range between 31 and 35 feet in height and would be within the maximum height allowed within the industrial commercial zone. This slide here, before I move on, just wanted shows the proposed floor plan of each of the 4 tenant spaces, and you can see the mezzanine area, which provides the office area above on the first floor. As you can see, the staircases that would access those office areas, and you can see from the back area the roll-up doors that are provided with access through the parking area. Next slide. As mentioned, the proposed building would range from 31 feet to 35 feet in height and would be within the maximum allowed height for that zone. The proposed building reflects a contemporary architectural style and provides for articulation and building surfaces. The exterior of the building will consist of mixed materials such as decorative split face CMU reveals and stucco natural earth tone colors such as browns and beiges. A metal parapet cap along the roof line will add decorative treatment to the proposed structure. The proposed construction will include roll-up doors, as mentioned, for access to each of those units, and will be aesthetically complementary to the proposed architectural style of that building. And lastly, custom wall light fixtures will provide accent lighting at night. Again, this slide here shows the south and north elevations. The south elevation would be facing Garvey Avenue, and the north elevation is what would be facing the interior side of that parking lot. Next slide, please. And here shows the north elevation, which is adjacent to the existing mobile home park. And then the west elevation is showing from, I'm sorry, not the west elevation, but the east elevation would be from Westcott Place. So right at that intersection of Westcott and Garvey Avenue. Next slide. As mentioned, the applicant is requesting a deviation from the minimum side yard setback standards for lots within the industrial zone. The standard requires buildings to provide a minimum side yard setback of 10 feet. The proposed site plan provides a 0-foot side yard setback along the westerly property line, which would be along, which is along the site where the existing mobile home park is. In order to meet the setback requirements, the building would have to be pushed towards the west of the property. This would reduce the side yard setback along the easterly property line along Westcott to 5 feet where 10 feet is required. Approval of the zone variance would allow the applicant to facilitate the proposed construction of this project as presented, in providing sufficient parking and also landscaping and setback along Westcott Avenue. Resolution of approval has been prepared to grant the variance to permit the development. Along with the zone variance, as you may know, in the municipal code requires a design review. The highest designated approving authority for all requested permits shall take final action on all the permits requested. The design review committee tentatively approved the design review application for the proposed project on February 12th, 2021. The approval of the zoning variance by the planning commission will also constitute a final approval of the design review before you. Next slide. So initial study, environmental documentation was prepared for the project and disclosed that the project will not have a significant impact on the environment. Mitigation measures have been incorporated into the project design and conditions of approval to reduce impacts on the environment to less than significant. A mitigated negative declaration has been prepared pursuant to the requirements of CEQA and as amended. The MND was circulated for public review and comment for 30 days, beginning on March 1st, 2021 and ending on March 30th, 2021. The MND is provided in attachment 4 in the staff report. Comments were received from LA County Sanitation District, and the response was provided as attachment 5 in the staff report. In addition to releasing the environmental document, notices of public hearing were also sent out to all owners and occupants within 300 feet of the parcel. Staff did not receive any letters of concern from any of the adjacent property owners or occupants within that time period. In conclusion, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution for the mitigated negative declaration and also approving a resolution approving the zone variance for the project. That concludes staff's presentation. I'd be happy to answer any further questions. The environmental consultant that prepared the environmental documentation is present, as well as the applicant for any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ron. At this time, commissioners, do you have any questions of staff? Seeing no questions, I'm going to go ahead and open up the public hearing. Madam Secretary, have we received any comments from the public in regards to this application?
None received, sir.
Great. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Commissioners, any questions of staff, the applicant, or the applicant?
Not on my end.
Great. Commissioner Borges, any questions?
No questions.
Perfect. Great. Okay, just a quick question, Ron and Robert, just making sure that obviously this is an industrial building, right? And it just just kind of thrown off by the name of the business, Baldwin Park Homes, and this is in no way residential, right? This is just an industrial building.
That is my understanding, Chairman.
That is correct, Chairman. This is not proposed as a residential structure. I think the developer under the application, if you're familiar, Mr. Cook, they have had a reputation within the city of building residential, single family and multifamily residential projects within the city.
Perfect. Okay, just clarifying that it was in fact residential, not excuse me, it was industrial and not residential. So at this time, I'm going to make a motion to adopt resolution PC 21-03 entitled "A Resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Baldwin Park adopting a mitigated negative declaration and a mitigation monitoring and reporting program, location 12793 Garvey Avenue, applicant David Cook for Baldwin Park Homes LLC, case number DR 20-02 and ZV 20-03, and adopt the findings of fact in resolution PC 21-04, entitled a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Baldwin Park approving a design review and zoning variance to deviate from the minimum side yard setback standards to facilitate the development of a new 20,847 square foot industrial warehouse building, location 12793 Garvey Avenue, applicant David Cook for Baldwin Park Homes LLC, case number DR 20-02 and ZV 20-03. Do we have a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Commissioner Garrido. Madam Secretary, will you please call roll?
Thank you, Chair. Chair Christopher Sine,
Yes.
Vice Chair Edwin Borkus,
Yes.
Commissioner Christopher Garrido.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Motion passes 3-0. Resolutions have been adopted. At this time, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next item, reports of officers. Mr. Ron Garcia.
Thank you, Chairman. All I have to report is just a reminder that we do have a planning commission meeting scheduled for the 28th of this month. It's a short agenda. We do have one item for an 11-unit townhome project located on Ramona Boulevard. So we'll be presenting that to the commission on the 28th. Right now, we don't have anything scheduled for the month of May, but also want to remind you that I will be sending out a save the date for June. We will not be having any planning commission meetings in June because we will be having 2 joint study sessions with the planning commission and city council, one on June 9th to present the draft of the downtown TOD specific plan for your review. And second, on June 23rd, a joint study session with the Planning Commission and Council to present the draft housing element document before we send it to the state for review. So we'll have June 9th and 23rd joint study sessions and no Planning Commission meeting scheduled for that month, so we can concentrate our attention on the new downtown plan and also the housing element update. That's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ron, for the updates.
I had a quick question. Just a quick, I know you're going to ask it right now. Ron, is there any outlook on, when we can, for the session? Obviously, anything open to the public and all that, that's probably going to be a while off, but like a session, is it going to continue to stay Zoom? I mean, at around that time frame, do we have anything, what we're looking into here in the near future in regard to, getting back together again, that type of thing, meeting in person?
No, good question, Commissioner Garrido. I haven't heard anything from administration regarding when that would happen. I know that the June 15th date has been floating around when things are going to open up, but I will be sure as soon as I get information from administration of when we would have an in-person meeting. Potentially, we could have an in-person joint Planning Commission City Council meeting beginning in June. That's the best case scenario. But rest assured, I'll let the planning commissioners know when that would happen.
Sounds good, Ron. Thank you.
Hey, Ron, I have a quick question, just because we're on the topic of Garvey Avenue. Did that recycling facility just disappear? Like nothing ever happened with that proposal there on the corner of Fraser?
Good question. Actually, I'm working with the applicant. They've kind of taken a hiatus since the last time the commission reviewed it, but that will be coming back to the commission in the near future.
Cool. Thank you so much. Commissioners, any additional comments?
Nope.
All right, see none. Thank you, staff, for all your hard work. Thank you, everybody, commissioners, everybody. At this time, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Borges. Madam Secretary, will you please call roll?
Thank you, Chair. Chair Christopher Sines,
Yes.
Vice Chair Edwin Borges,
Yes.
Commissioner Christopher Garrido.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Motion passes 3-0. We are adjourned at 7:23 p.m. Viva Baldwin Park.
Viva
Viva Baldwin
Baldwin Park.
Park.
Viva Baldwin
Viva.
Park.
Take care, everybody.
See you guys.
Viva Las
night.
Vegas for Commissioner Borges.
That's a good one. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.